BRICS just made its biggest move yet, and the United States is watching in shock. In just 1 month, Indonesia and Nigeria have officially joined BRICS. But that's not all. 23 more nations are now lining up, ready to break away from the US-led financial system. This is an economic revolution. For decades, the US dollar has ruled global trade. But BRICS has a plan to change that forever. The US is losing control, the global order is shifting, and the consequences could be massive. So what's really happening? Why are so many countries rushing to join BRICS? And most importantly, what happens next? Let's dive in. BRICS expansion. The countries breaking away from the US. The world is shifting, and it's happening fast. On January 6, 2025, Indonesia officially joined BRICS. This is massive. With its $1.4 trillion economy and strategic control over global trade routes, Indonesia strengthens BRICS' hold on Southeast Asia. Just days later, on January 17, 2025, Nigeria followed, joining BRICS as a strategic partner. This means Africa's largest economy, with its $500 billion GDP and massive oil reserves, is now aligned with BRICS. But here's the real shocker. They're not alone. 23 more nations are now lining up, ready to make the leap. We're talking about Pakistan, Venezuela, Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia, Colombia, and even more. This isn't just another trade alliance. This is a direct challenge to US influence. Because the bigger BRICS gets, the weaker the US-led global order becomes. And the US, they know it. So the question now is, why are so many nations making this move? Let's break it down. The US dollar is in danger. BRICS has a plan. For decades, the United States controlled the global economy through one powerful weapon, the US dollar. Sanctions, economic pressure, trade restrictions. Washington dictated the rules, and the world had no choice but to follow. But BRICS is done playing by those rules. The bloc has one mission, dollarization. No more dependence on the US dollar. No more vulnerability to Western financial control. Instead, BRICS nations are trading in their own currencies, and the impact is huge. Example, Indonesia and Russia no longer need the dollar. They can trade oil and gas in rupiah and rubles, bypassing US financial systems entirely. And it's not just them. China, Brazil, and India are already using local currencies for major trade deals. The more nations do this, the weaker the US dollar becomes. This isn't just an economic shift, it's a direct attack on the West's global dominance. Because if the world stops using the dollar, what power does the US really have left? And that's exactly what Washington is afraid of. But BRICS isn't stopping here. They have a strategy, and it's working. Let's take a look at what happens next. The next big move. Who will BRICS accept next? BRICS is expanding fast, but it's not just about adding new members. It's about choosing the right ones. Right now, 23 countries are waiting to join. But BRICS isn't accepting everyone. They're being strategic. Who are the top contenders? First, resource-rich nations. Venezuela, with one of the largest oil reserves in the world, is a prime candidate. Nigeria, already a BRICS partner, holds massive energy supplies. Then, geopolitical players. Pakistan's location makes it a critical bridge between Asia and the Middle East. Saudi Arabia, a global oil superpower, could shift the balance of energy markets if it joins. And then there's economic powerhouses like Bangladesh and Colombia, nations that want stronger trade alternatives outside of the Western system. The more oil, gas, and key industries BRICS controls, the less power the West has over global markets. Imagine a world where the US can no longer dictate oil prices, where major economies stop using the dollar entirely. That's exactly the future BRICS is building. And if these countries officially join, the US-led economic order may never recover. But here's the real question. Can the US stop this? Or is it already too late? Let's find out. The US is running out of options. What happens next? The United States is running out of moves. For decades, Washington used sanctions, trade barriers, and economic pressure to control the global economy. But now, those tactics are failing. BRICS is growing, the dollar is weakening, and US influence is fading. So what can the US do? 3 options, none of them good. Option 1, retaliate with sanctions. The US could try to punish BRICS nations with new economic restrictions. But here's the problem. Sanctions only work if countries need the dollar, and BRICS is proving they don't. Option 2. Increase trade wars. We've already seen it. Trump's 110% tariffs on China, the Nvidia chip ban. But those moves haven't stopped China's growth, and they won't stop BRICS either. Option 3. Negotiate with BRICS. This is the US's worst nightmare, being forced to sit at the table with an economic alliance that no longer needs them. Because here's the truth. For the first time in modern history, the US doesn't control the global economy. And if BRICS keeps expanding, Washington may have no choice but to accept a new world order. The question is, how will the US respond? Let's wrap this up. This is just the beginning. The world is changing, and fast. BRICS isn't just growing, it's rewriting the global economy. More countries are breaking away from the US-led system. The dollar is losing its grip. And Washington, they're scrambling to keep control. But here's the thing. BRICS expansion isn't the only major shift happening right now. While the US is losing economic influence, another country is quietly rising as the unexpected winner of the US-China trade war. Malaysia. It's attracting billions in semiconductor investments from both the US and China, and positioning itself as the next global tech powerhouse. So if you think BRICS is changing the world, wait until you see what's happening with Malaysia. Watch this next video. How Malaysia is winning the US-China chip war, to find out how one country is playing both sides and winning big. Because in this new world order, it's not just about who's fighting, it's about who's winning.